This is my first video update coming to you from Athens, Greece on this Sunday morning. Let's talk about some news, and let's start things off with the push by the European Union, by the EC, the European Commission, to put together a 9th sanctions package against Russia, because the first 8 sanctions packages worked out so well for the European Union that they're now working to put together a 9th sanctions package. And the Pirate of Brussels, she was in Finland on Thursday, and she had this to say with regards to a 9th sanctions package, as well as the price cap, the oil price cap that they're trying to get approved. She said this: "We are working hard to hit Russia where it hurts, to blunt even further its capacity to wage war on Ukraine. And I can announce today that we are working full speed on a 9th sanctions package. And I'm confident that we will very soon approve a global price cap on Russian oil with G7 and other major partners. We will not rest until Ukraine has prevailed over Putin and his unlawful and barbaric war. We will not rest until Ukraine has prevailed over Putin and his unlawful, barbaric war. Listen to me, EU member states and EU citizens. Russia's economy is in tatters, I tell you. In tatters. It is in tatters. I have spies in Russia who are telling me that the Russian administration, the authorities in Russia, they are going door to door, apartment to apartment, and they are confiscating washing machines and mobile phones and television sets, even flat screen television sets, and even mobile phones. And they are removing the microchips, and they are using those microchips to place them in fighter jets and in missiles, because Russia's economy is in tatters. Tatters, I tell you." The last part I'm making up, but the first part was a direct quote from the Pirate of Brussels when she was in Finland on Thursday. So it's not only a 9th sanctions package that they're trying to put together, but they are also trying to get this oil price cap approved. And what did Napoleon say? Never interrupt your enemy when they are making mistakes. Well, there you have it, Napoleon. If you were only here today, Napoleon, to see what the European Union and what France are doing to themselves, because none of this is Russia doing it to the European Union. This is the European Union doing it to itself. But if you were here today, Napoleon, I am confident that you would be shaking your head and just kind of looking at Macron and all of the EU member states and just going, boy, and I thought I was dumb for invading Russia. You guys are really, really dumb. Anyway, so yeah, it's not only the sanctions package, but also this oil price cap. And according to Bloomberg, this price cap has hit a bit of a snag. And they've had to delay the approval of this price cap because the Baltic states and Poland, they believe that the $65 to $70 price cap range that has been floated out there is too generous for Russia. This price cap of $65 to $70 is too generous. Now, Poland, they suggested a price cap of $30. I'm not sure what the Baltic states are suggesting with regards to a price cap, but I will repeat what I said in a previous video I did with regards to this price cap and the pricing of this price cap. $30. Why $30? That is too high. You are short. You are selling yourself short, Poland and the Baltic states. Where is your ambition? Where is your confidence? Aim higher, or in this case, aim lower. And instead of $30, why not go for 99 cents? And why stop at Russian oil? Why not put a price cap on all Russian commodities, all of it? and make it 99 cents. I mean, like a real price cap dollar store. Anything coming out of Russia, 99 cents. Just across the board, whatever it is, we don't care. Wheat, metals, uranium, gas, oil, 99 cents. All of it. Make it simple. Make it simple. Why are you putting this $30 nonsense out there, Poland? I think 99 cents is the price to go with. But Bloomberg is reporting that, well, Russia is not just sitting around and accepting these price caps. The Kremlin is actually preparing a decree prohibiting Russian companies and any traders who buy Russian oil from selling it to countries and companies that have introduced a price ceiling. This is according to Bloomberg. Russia will ban the sale of its oil to countries that have introduced a price ceiling. Now, who do you think is going to win in this price cap war? The group of countries that are buying the oil, or the country that is selling the oil, the country that has this commodity that the entire world runs on? Who do you think is going to win? I would place my bets on the European Union. I would place my bets on Russia, of course. On Russia, of course. Because what Russia is going to do is they're going to, well, they're basically saying they're going to ban anybody from selling Russian oil to any country that is placing a price cap on the Russian oil. So that's the first thing they're going to do. That's going to work out well for the European Union. Boy, is that going to work out well for the European Union. They're going to prohibit Russian companies and any traders who buy Russian oil from selling it to the EU and the G7 countries. Oh boy. And what Russia is then going to do is they're going to take that oil and they're going to continue to sell it to India for, say, I don't know, $75. And then India is going to refine that oil because India's got massive refineries. I mean, they've got some of the biggest refineries in the world. And they're going to say, thank you very much, Russia. Thank you very much. Shake your hand. Great doing business with you. $75 for that oil. Let us refine it, fix it up here, put it on ships, and take it to the European Union and sell it to EU member states at, I don't know, say $110, maybe $120. And what's the EU going to say? They're going to say, yeah. Why? Because we need oil. And they're going to be buying that very same Russian oil at $120 instead of 75 or 80 or 90. Maybe India will sell it to the EU at $130, $140. Who knows? Who knows what markup India is going to put on that oil? But you better believe that in this instance, as with pretty much all the instances, but in this specific instance, Russia is going to win big time, and India is going to win big time, and the European Union is going to lose big time. So that is the story with the ninth energy package, the ninth sanctions package, and the oil price cap. And that was Ursula's trip to Finland. The European Union, they have also approved an 18 billion euro loan to Zelensky. And in this instance, we have Hungary saying that they're not going to play ball with this 18 billion euro loan in 2023 to the Zelensky regime. This loan is meant to pay the salaries of Zelensky and his administration and parliament members who gave themselves a 75% raise a couple of months ago, by the way, and just basically keep the Ukraine economy on life support, keep it up and afloat. And so Hungary, they have come out and they have said that they are not going to participate in this 18 billion slush fund that the EU is preparing in 2023. They have said that they will help Ukraine, but on a bilateral basis. And Viktor Orban said that the EU is not a debt community. And Orban is 100% spot on here. Any country in the EU, any member state that wishes to provide money, weapons, food, whatever, to Ukraine, do it on a bilateral basis. Do it country to country. That's your business. The EU should not be pooling European Union taxpayer money, EU funds. They should not be pooling this money together into some sort of slush fund so they can give it out to non-EU member state countries, let alone a puppet, clown puppet, despot, dictator in the most corrupt country in Europe. This should not be what EU funds are used for. How about using that 18 billion to help EU citizens get through what's going to be a very hard winter? How about using 18 billion for that cause? No. We have to send this 18 billion to Zelensky. And I'm sure that Zelensky is going to put this 18 billion to good use. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Because if anyone, if you had a couple of billion lying around, I'm sure you would lend it to Zelensky as well, right? Because Zelensky is good for it. Absolutely. Zelensky is going to pay this 18 billion back to the European Union. Yeah. If I had a couple of billion, the first thing I would do is I would lend it to Zelensky. Because I know that that Zelensky, he's going to pay me back, of course. He's Zelensky. Why wouldn't he pay me back? So Orban is 100% right. And he made it a point to say that Hungary has been helping Ukraine from the very beginning of this SMO. They've been providing Ukraine humanitarian aid, food, money, medicine, non-lethal aid. They've been providing it to Ukraine from the very beginning, but they've been doing it on a bilateral basis. And Orban said they will continue to do it, but they're not going to participate in another EU slush fund to Ukraine in 2023 in the form of an 18 billion euro loan. And it's not only the EU that is dishing out money to Ukraine. Canada has given Ukraine $350 million in order for Ukraine to fill up its underground storage facilities with gas for the winter. This was revealed by the Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal. The government in Ottawa has transferred 12.7 billion hryvnia, or $344 million, to Ukraine's state-owned gas company, Naftogaz, he said. And he also added that Ukraine earlier received this money from the government of Canada. That is confirmation. That is a direct quote and confirmation from the Prime Minister of Ukraine that Canada has indeed transferred $350 million so that Ukraine can fill up its underground gas storage facilities. Ukraine also received $200 million from Norway and is awaiting another $300 million from the European Bank of Reconstruction and Development. Now, if you believe that Ukraine is going to put all of this money to the purposes that it states here, to fill up its gas storage facilities or to help the people of Ukraine, well, then I've got a graffiti, a Greek graffiti to sell you here. Boy, talk about wasting money. $350 million from Canada to Ukraine in order to fill up its gas facilities. All right, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Zelensky's going to use that money to do just that. I'm sure now Naftogaz is going to use that money to do just that. Keep in mind that the U.S. is $97 billion in the hole for Ukraine. That's with a B. $97 billion. Hasn't been audited. No one knows where this money went. Boy, and you want to know why the collective West, why they want to keep this war going, why they're so desperate to con their citizens into believing that this war is worth their citizens suffering for, because they're making a ton of money out of this. Yeah, the citizens of the European Union and of the collective West and of the United States and Canada and the UK, yeah, you're going to suffer. But boy, oh boy, are we making a lot of money out of this. UK Defence Secretary Ben Wallace, not to be outdone by the stupidity of the European Union and of Justin Trudeau, the UK Defence Secretary Ben Wallace, he has called on Ukraine to keep up the pressure on Russian forces in the coming months, arguing that Kiev is well prepared to fight in freezing conditions. This is what Wallace told the Daily Beast in an interview on Thursday. The Defense Secretary suggested that Kiev's forces had the advantage in equipment training and the quality of their personnel over Russian troops. With this in mind, it would be in Ukraine's interest to maintain momentum through the winter, Wallace said, adding that the international community has provided Kiev with 300,000 pieces of Arctic warfare kit. So according to Ben Wallace, Ukraine has the advantage in winter fighting because the collective West has given Ukraine superior winter fighting gear than what Russia has. Russia doesn't have any of this winter fighting kit. Russia doesn't know how to fight in winter. Russia's completely unprepared to fight in winter. And that is why, according to Ben Wallace, Ukraine needs to continue to keep the pressure on Russia. What pressure are you talking about, Ben Wallace? What pressure are you talking about? Ukraine, every week, Ukraine is undergoing massive missile and drone strikes, which have brought the electric grid to Ukraine to the brink of collapse. And you're talking about Ukraine putting pressure on Russia? And why would you sell us this fiction that Ukraine is better equipped to fight in the winter than Russia? Have you not studied history? Have you not read your history books, Ben Wallace? I thought Ben Wallace was a military guy. I thought he understood that Russia knows how to fight in the winter and that Russia has plenty of winter kit and winter gear. But nope, Ben Wallace is lying to the people. He's lying to the Ukrainian people and the Ukrainian soldiers. And he's just basically saying, continue to fight this war, continue to send your soldiers to certain death so that we can keep this thing going, because we have 350 million from Canada, we have 200 million from Norway, we have another 18 billion from the European Union, we have 97 billion from the United States. We gotta keep this grift going for as long as it takes. That's the buzzword, for as long as it takes. Pressure. I think Russia is putting the pressure on all of Ukraine, not Ukraine putting the pressure on Russia. Ukraine is evacuating people from Kherson. No one's reporting on this. Alexander's done, I think, 3 shows on this already. Ukraine is evacuating people from Kherson. When Russia was evacuating, everyone's, oh my God, there's a huge victory for Ukraine. Yeah, okay. On technically speaking, a victory. PR and optics-wise, absolutely a victory. PR and optics. But now where's the same PR? Where's the same media reporting on the fact that Ukraine is evacuating citizens from the 40% of Kherson, the west bank of the river, the right side of the Dnieper? No one's reporting on this, are they? They're not saying that Ukraine has also found that Kherson is just not defendable, and so they're evacuating whatever they've had in that area. Anyway, let's do a clown world, and we will wrap this video up. And in this clown world, we will go to the BBC. We will turn our attention to the BBC. They were in Kiev, and they were interviewing Zelensky's wife, Olena Zelenska. And in this interview in Kiev, The First Lady of Ukraine said that Ukrainians are ready to live with electricity shortages for 2 to 3 years if they could see the prospect of joining the European Union. 2 to 3 years, not 2 to 3 weeks or 2 to 3 days, 2 to 3 years. And this is what she said, and I quote, "We are ready to endure this. We've had so many terrible challenges, so much destruction, that blackouts are not the worst thing to happen to us. We are ready to endure this." Well, she's not going to endure electricity shortages or blackouts, that's for sure. The Ukrainian people, well, they're going to have to endure it, but she's not going to endure any of this hardship. Anyway, to be fair to Zelenska, she was citing a recent poll that took place in Ukraine, where 90% of Ukrainians said they were ready to live with electricity shortages for 2 to 3 years if they could see the prospect of joining the European Union. So she's citing a poll. That's where she's getting this 2 to 3 year number. And the BBC is packaging this up. And it's being packaged up for collective West consumption so that they can say, so that the readers of the BBC can say, if they're willing to endure 2 to 3 years of shortages, then who are we in the UK or in Europe to not also endure, to complain and to not also endure food and energy and electricity shortages or inflation or price hikes or stuff like that. That is the purpose of this interview. That was the purpose of this poll. I haven't seen this poll, so I don't know how it was conducted or what company conducted this poll, but my first gut instinct tells me not to trust a poll taken in Ukraine. That's just my gut instinct. And even if this poll was done on the up and up, I would be very skeptical as to whether those polled, whether those interviewed, those Ukrainian citizens understood that the question is not about shortages as far as, I don't know, rolling blackouts of, say, 30 minutes without electricity every other day for a couple of years. I don't think that if this poll was done on the up and up, I don't think the people that answered this question understood that we're not talking about not having electricity every now and then for an hour or two every other day or something like that. What we're talking about here is a complete electricity grid collapse. That's what we're talking about here. And this is not about shortages. This is about a complete collapse. It's not about living with rolling blackouts for 2 to 3 years. This is about trying to survive a complete collapse for 2 to 3 weeks. So I believe that this entire interview, the poll, everything was done so that it could be packaged, not for Ukrainian citizen consumption, but for collective West readers of the BBC and other outlets, so that they can then say to themselves, well, if they're willing to endure this for 2 to 3 years so that they can enter the European Union, well then, who are we as citizens of the UK or citizens of the European Union? Who are we to complain? Who are we to get out on the streets and protest? That's why this entire interview and this poll and this statement was put into this article. So that is the clown world, everybody. I will leave the video there, theduran.locals.com, and look for us on Rockfin as well. Look for us on Rockfin as well. And the Duran shop, 10% off. Use the code GOODDAY. Take care.